Hey everybody, this is Trigger Strifey of BTG, and today I'm coming at you with a Dark Souls DLC review. Because if you didn't know, if you can see by the figures in the Dark Souls shrine, I am really into Dark Souls, and I really like Dark Souls. And I really wanted to try this DLC, the Ashes of Ariandel, cool like snow DLC. And it looks so good and so fun. And I'm just gonna give you my thoughts on it, my ideas, show you a little gameplay in between, and give you my thoughts on how I thought the DLC.
To be a cold, dark, and very gentle place. But first, I must see flame.
So, setting. Now, the whole landscape of this place is kind of like icy and just like snow. It feels like a freaking black metal Viking cover of an album. It feels like just cold and wintry, and winter is coming. Just epicness. It's like, I love the snow effects. I love the Viking looking enemies. I love the wolves in the snow. It shows a part of Dark Souls is that Dark Souls is very like decrepit, dark, and depressing, and that's kind of like what's kind of cool about the atmosphere of the game. And then showing that same style in the snow is what I like that, because usually when Dark Souls shows like snowy areas, or like kind of like the Boreal Valley. I forgot that. Boreal Valley. It's very pretty and crystally. It's all these crystals. It looks very cool and pretty, but this setting was dark and felt like cold and felt just like everything's dying, and it's epic. That's like, I love that atmosphere. And I loved how you kind of like, there were some parts where it kind of reminded me of Bloodborne with like kind of disease and different areas. And then I liked how it was kind of like crafted and made very in the cool Miyazaki way of everything being interconnected, and the map kind of flowed where everything kind of led back to the beginning, which was really cool. I love that when they do that in the Dark Souls series. So I liked it, and so the setting of it was phenomenal, like amazing. I loved it. Great thing, cool thing. Now the enemies were cool. I like that they used the atmosphere with the area to bring out the enemies. So you had these like trees that freaking attacked you that were fucking weird and creepy looking, and they shot fire, and they kind of remind me of like the enemies that you fought when you were fighting the Dragon Slayer in armor in the Lothric Castle. They had the same fire effects, so maybe there's a connection with there. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they've got the Vikings, these big hulking dudes with axes and just destroying, and they can break the earth, and they're just mean looking guys, and they're just crazy. And then the wolves, and that was really cool, just like having wolves attack you. And one thing I really have to point out was that the wolves had this cool AI where they kind of stalked you like an actual wolf. They didn't as soon as they saw you, they didn't just pounce. They kind of waited for you, seeing what you would do, seeing if you the right moment to pounce, and then they would kind of gather a pack, and then they would attack you, which was really cool, because I've never seen AI in Dark Souls that had kind of like this like animalistic nature to it, that that was shown kind of like how real wolves in our real life are. So that was really neat. Then there was like decrepit, like disgusting bird creatures that were just like dying, and and it was just gross, and showing off how this world has turned to ruin, and it's just becoming worse and worse. Then you got these bug things that are just ugly and gross and disgusting. And ultimately, the creatures and the enemies were varied enough that I liked it, and I didn't get bored of them, and it was really cool. And and they were in the right spaces, the right places. It was very, very good. I liked them. No enemy kind of made me go like, this is dumb, this is pointless, I don't know why this. It was actually really done well. Next up is the bosses. I didn't actually like that there's really only 2 bosses in the DLC, and that kind of annoyed me, because personally, like, I like when there's a lot of bosses in the DLC, at least maybe 3 to 4, like, because like in the original Dark Souls 1, they had at least 3 to 4 bosses. You had like Calamite, you had Manus, you had Artorias, and I think there's one more that I'm missing, but you had like at least 3 bosses just to fight it. The first one you fight is kind of like a reproduction of an NPC character and Sif from Dark Souls 1. So it was kind of like that was a cool boss fight, and like I like the nod to like that battle, but that's kind of just like, you know, they took it from that and put it in there, so it really felt like there was really one unique boss. And then the actual final boss that you fight in the DLC is really freaking cool. I will applaud. They do something completely different they've never done in Dark Souls series. I won't spoil it, but it's really cool how they do it. And yeah, I like that. If they could just put a little bit, like 2 more or 1 more boss that was like that, then I would say it was good for the bosses. But for how it was kind of let down. I was like, eh. So the story, I haven't really delved into the story. I need to watch Vati videos, video on the actual story, because he makes the most in-depth videos about the story currently. And but how it was playing and how the what I was picking from, or like getting from the actual area that you're in, the characters and everything, it oozed the stuff from the painted world of Aramis, or Aramis. I don't know actually the correct pronunciation. Never looked it up, but you can say in the comments below if what it is. I would like to know. But I like how it's connected to that world from Dark Souls 1. It just seems, there's a part of me that thinks like this kind of came before it, and this is, you're playing like a prequel to the painted world from the first one, but it's kind of like a mind fuck if you think, because this game's in the future. It's just crazy, but you know, Dark Souls, time is distorted, so you don't know what's gonna happen. But it looks very interesting. I'm really really interested in the story. It didn't leave me in like the sense that I don't know what's going on, or I really don't care what's going on. It made me feel like something's like amiss here, and there's some weird connection that I really want to piece together. So the story, they did what they do well, is made it cryptic enough to make it you want to know more. So that's a good part on this DLC. Now another cool part of the DLC that was added was the PvP arena, which actually is pretty cool. The only thing I have a little gripe with is I wish there was more than 1 map, like maybe 2 at least. Because it kind of seems, you kind of get bored of it very fast. But I do like that there's varied game types, and you can kind of pick, and you can kind of like use the kind of co-op system to make sure you get your friends in certain things, so you can just mess around and fight your friends in kind of like a PvP match, and I thought that was cool. They have like 3 game types mainly. It's like one where you fight, you do a duel, another one where it's like a free-for-all, and then another one where it's like it's co-op, and then there's like varied versions of each one. I played the duel, which was really cool because they actually kept the idea of like not using your Estus flask and just going at it like straight away and just fighting to the death, and just not keep Estusing, and then the battle just goes on forever and ever. And they did that, which I really like doing that one. Then they had the free-for-all, which I did the 6-player, and that was just nuts. It made no sense. It was just like chaos. But it was fun, but it was chaos. It's like there's no order to that. Then the co-op was really cool. I like how you had to go back and you could help your teammates fight fight the other guys, and you back them up, and you come back and spawn. And they actually won a draw in that match, but it was really cool. I like that. I just wish they would add more maps. If they added more maps, I would have enjoyed it more. But it was kind of like I just messed around with it for a few, like half an hour or 45 minutes, and I was kind of like, I'm good. I probably would still rather go to the actual like areas where they PvP than do that sometimes. They need to add a little bit more to it, but they did upgrade it from Dark Souls 1, so that's pretty cool. The other thing, and the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video, is the longevity of the DLC, which is, it's kind of short. It's like, that's a gripe with me, is that honestly, if I didn't do the PvP, and I didn't do any of the like, or die a lot, like I didn't even really die a lot, but like get set back a little, I could have beat the DLC in 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. Like if you didn't actually explore every area and look for items, you could probably beat it in like 2.5 hours. It was really short. That's the only thing. My thing is like the Artorias of the Abyss DLC was really in depth. Like that one lasted me at least 6 or 8 hours, or like if I go back and look through everything, like 8 or 10 hours. That one was a really good DLC. But for this one, it's really good, but I wish it was longer. That's one of my things. So to sum it up, here's the good and the bad. The good part is that it has a cool atmosphere, it has a cool setting, the enemies are varied, the enemies are cool, they have really unique AI, it's very fun, the world's very interconnected, the story is very cryptic, but not so cryptic you don't really know what's going on, but it's not too like boring that you don't really care for it. It's really neat. It has cool like ties to the other Dark Souls game. So those are the really good things. and you got cool weapons and cool abilities, and they added the PvP arena, so that's kudos for them to trying to add more stuff to it. And that's what I have to say about the good. The bad is I wish they had more varied bosses. There was only 2, and one of them was like a reskin of some from the original games. I wish the DLC was longer. It was like very short. I wish it was like maybe 6 to 8 hours longer than like around 2 to 4 or 3 to 4 hours. Wish that. And overall, I wish that the PvP arena had more maps or more like varied game types or something different. Otherwise, it was just kind of like eh. But to sum that all up, I would say buy the DLC. If you're a Dark Souls fan, you will love it. You will have fun with it. You will enjoy it. I say get the season pass because you might as well just get all the DLCs that are coming out just because it's only $25, and that's saving on like $5 or $10 on the next DLC that's going to come out next year. And so definitely pick this up, have fun with it. If you had an itching to play Dark Souls 3 again and you want to jump back into it, definitely get this up. You'll love it. And that's all I have to say for this review. This is Trigger Strifey of BTG telling you stay triggered, and I'll see you later. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked it, then give it a like. If you want more, then subscribe to our channel. So this is Trigger Strifey of BTG saying stay triggered, and I'll see you next time.